Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you'll be fine. Open your books, page number 8. Unit number 1, Light in the Night. There are some words to know, some in the word bank and some in your unit, which you are to learn with their meanings. Words in the word bank are enforce, to make sure something is done, wick, a string in oil or in the middle of a candle that is lit for burning. First of all, you must revise the main theme of this story. This story is a description of a journey of London from darkness to light. Light in the Night highlights the history of street lights by the author Claire Horsburgh. It is a symbolic story written for comparing the lights in our life when the situation is not in our favor. Before the installation of street lamps, people living in London would socialize under the moonlight, or there would be darkness when there was no moon in the sky. Many people got jobs related to connecting these street lamps on the side of road which are powered by electricity. Now we will read the story. London is a major capital city. At night it glows, means shine brightly like most modern cities. Before the 70s, London was much smaller than it is now. On cloudless moonlit nights, people would take advantage of moonlight and go out to socialize. Socialize means to take part in social activities. But nighttime in the city could be dangerous. You could trip, fall and injure yourself. If you fell in the river, you could drown, means go down in the water. You could be attacked or robbed. Robbed means take something away by force, by criminals who roamed. Roamed means move about aimlessly in the streets. You could easily get lost. If people wanted to go out at night, they would have to carry a burning torch or lamp, or if they were rich enough, pay someone else to carry it. There were many link boys who would, for a small fee, hold a burning torch or lamp ahead of people so that they could see the way through the dark streets. Some of these link boys were dishonest and would rob the people who had employed, engaged them, and then run off and leave them in the dark. By the early 17th, busy cities like London and Paris had street lamps in some areas. In Paris, which had street lamps before London, the first street lamps were actually lights placed in the windows of the houses. Police enforced a law that said every house had to have a lamp burning in the window all night long. If the lamp went out, people would have to get up to relight it or face being fined. Some people started to offer their services as lamplighters in return for payment. Lamplighters would put up a lamp outside the house and make sure it was lit. The street lamps reassured people and made them feel safer. The authorities, means might or powers or government, realized the benefits they brought and took over the installation and maintenance of them. All over Europe, the use of lamp posts grew. In the 17th, London grew rapidly and became the world center of trade, manufacturing, and fashion business. Business became important and lights were needed to keep the city working and entertaining in the light. By the late 17th, London had so many street lamps that visitors to the city were amazed by them. The lamps were fueled, means stimulated by wax or oil that gave off an unpleasant smell and often dripped. Many people were employed as lamplighters because each lamp had to be lit by hand every evening. One German tourist visiting London in the 17th wrote in his diary, "As it was quite dark, when I came back the first evening, I was astonished," means surprised, "at the admirable manner in which the streets are lighted up. The bright lamps made the city seem exciting and lively." The lamps are so near each other that even on the most ordinary and common nights, the city has the appearance of a festive illumination. The lamplighters quickly became an important and valued part of society. This was because they often became a key figure, you can say the main part in their communities. They would walk the same routes a day, and as they checked, cleaned, fixed, lit, or put out the lights, they would notice what was going on around them. Many lamplighters helped to make their roads safer. Their job required energy, strength, agility, and reliability. They had to keep the lights clean, make sure the wicks were trimmed to the right length, light tens of lamps in the evening, and put them all out again in the morning. Many lamplighters were pleased to be guardians in their communities, and often the job would be passed on from parent to child. The lampposts of London were designed with a bar sticking out on either side at the top so that the lamplighter could safely rest his ladder on them. Lamplighters moved quickly, carrying their ladder and going up and down in hundreds of times a day. The lampposts were decorated with royal crests and were looked after carefully by the lamplighters. When gas lamps started to be used from 1805 onwards, they changed the work of the lamplighters. The gas lamps were much quicker to light and didn't require lots of the work like the oil lamps, such as changing the smelly oil and replacing the trimming wicks. Some of the lamplighters felt their job wasn't the same anymore. Charles Dickens captured this feeling in the story The Lamplighters, when one character talks about the change from oil to gas lamps. I foresee in this, foresee means realize beforehand, the breaking up of our profession. There's no more going the rounds to trim by daylight, no more dribbling down the oil on the heads and the bonnets of the ladies and gentlemen. When one feels in spirits, any low fellow can light a gas lamp. Gas lamps were better than oil lamps in many ways, although a big issue with them was that every now and again one would blow up. Over time, gas lamps replaced oil lamps. Later, with the invention of electricity, gas lamps were replaced by the electric lamps, which now dominate, you can say, the modern streets. Today, there are still 1,500 gas lamps in London. 5 people are employed to operate them. They light them every evening and put them out every morning. These lights are carefully looked after because they are part of the city's history. Kensington Palace Gardens is the name of a long avenue in London. It is lined with grand old buildings and is lit entirely by gas lamps. There you can imagine what it would have been like in London during the time of Charles Dickens. Clear Horse.